Hey, how's it going? I'm Mr. Scala. I'm Mr. Etz's friend. He told me that you had to prepare for an audition coming up in a few weeks and that you had to learn a few different drum rudiments. So I wanted to explain in this video to you the flam, the 5-stroke roll, the 9-stroke roll, the double stroke roll, and the flam tap. Before I get into any of the rudiments, I just want to talk about how we hold the drumstick. So the most important thing, it's like the basic building block of having a decent drumstick grip is having a strong balance point. I teach elementary school music. I tell my 5th graders and 4th graders to pretend there's a seesaw between their thumb and pointer. This is the balance point. It's called a fulcrum. And what you should be doing is you should be taking your thumb and squeezing the drumstick into the first crease of your pointer finger, right in that crease. I'll tell my older high school students that you should imagine that you have a nail gun and you're shooting it through your thumb and it should come straight out of your pointer finger. You want your thumb and pointer to be equal on the stick. If your hand starts looking like this or this, it's gonna eventually cause some tension in your back arm. Even doing this, I can feel already. So really when you play the drums, you wanna be relaxed and efficient. You don't wanna lose a lot of energy. You wanna make the most of it. That being said, playing like this with your thumb and pointer and wrapping these fingers around, it's still going to cause your hands to be sore after a while, but they'll be sore in the right places. So you want to build muscles in this meaty, fleshy part of your hand. And the more you play, the more you feel these muscles working. It's not something that happens overnight, but if you practice really slow, practice having the right grip, holding with the thumb and pointer. I tell my students, keep a pizza pie slice on your drum. What that means is you want a 60-degree angle on the drum pad. No chicken wings, right? No elbows out like this. This might all be obvious for you, but I just want to explain it just in case. So yeah, we're holding the sticks with the thumb and pointer. The rudiments you want to go over, I'm going to start with the roll stuff because that's what I was just talking about. So the 5-stroke roll, it comes out of the idea of this rhythm. Now there's only 3 strokes in each one of those rhythms. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You need to play 2 notes on the first 2 parts of that rhythm. So instead of da 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 da, it's double double tap, double double tap. The double comes from squeezing with your thumb and pointer. If it's uncomfortable to keep your back fingers on it first, and it might be, you can just squeeze with the thumb and pointer. I would even practice just really squeezing and just trying to get a buzz out of the drum just to get comfortable doing it. The more muscle you build over time and the more control you get, you can eventually put these back fingers around. What these back fingers do, they're kind of like the trigger fingers. They help pull the trigger of the drumstick through the fulcrum. It sounds like a lot. It's all very important to get the right sound out and to not blow your hands out too quick. Okay, so 5-stroke roll. If you know music rhythms, the rhythm is 1 EN, 2 EN, 3 EN, 4 EN. It's used a lot in traditional snare drum marches. 9-stroke roll is the same idea. Instead of 1 EN, 2 EN, it's 1 EN to 2, 3 EN to 4, 1 EN to 2, 3 EN to 4. You can really start all of these with the right hand. Right, left, right, left, right. If you start with the right, you're going to end with the right hand. And the rhythm that this comes out of, again, is 1 EN to 2, 3 EN to 4. I'll slow it down for you. So 4 doubles and a tap. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. It adds up to 9. Double stroke roll is the same idea, except it doesn't end, right? So that's on the list too. That's kind of redundant. It's all the same thing, but they might just want to hear you, whatever you're auditioning for, they might just want to hear you play a roll for a bit. You could also do a buzz roll. This same idea, you just crush more, like I said before. Squeeze really tight. that's like a drum roll. Okay, the other two things were flams and flam taps. These are different. A flam, I'll play it first and I'll explain it. Those are flams. The way a flam works is you have one note that's low, obviously, as you can see, and one note that's high. If you don't have this and you try to play your flams like this, it's not going to come out right because gravity, right? These sticks are falling at the same rate. You would have to really think about it and it would look terribly awkward. So keep one stick low and one stick high. I tell my students to start with their right hand up in the air and left hand down, and after 4 beats we're going to drop both the sticks and switch. The low hand becomes the high hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. It's really mostly in the wrists. It's a little bit in the forearms too. You want to have control when you play these things. The lower you can keep the grace note, the tiny note, the better. I have my students snap their wrist up straight 90 degrees just because if you think about like traditional marching band stuff, that's how they kind of teach you to be like very mechanical. You can play these a little looser if you want, especially on the drum set. Okay, and flam tap, number 5. Flam tap is the same idea, except now the big note is going to do a tap after. Flam, tap. So when the big note becomes the little note and stays down, you're going to just have it tap once, tap. Flam, tap, flam, tap, flam, tap, flam, tap. And these are all rudiments that you could bring to the drum set. I think I'm going to just bring it over to the kit and show you how these work too. Okay, so a lot of these drum rudiments can be brought to the kit and still make sense. It's up to you to have them make sense. You know, I would suggest not forcing it or making it sound awkward. Just do it when you're comfortable with it, but it really can help you open up your playing and do different things. I think it's not really common to hear a double stroke roll on the drum set. You don't really hear anyone in the middle of a song just... because it'd be extremely annoying. So you could probably tell that just from hearing it. The rest of them are common. Flams are common. One thing with flams on the kit, when you play them, you don't really have to switch your hands. I guess you still can if you wanted to. I see a lot of people just keep one big hand in the air. If you were playing something on the drum set that was more like a rudimentary snare drum piece, all the stuff I was doing on the pad before, then it's a little more common just because sticking wise it makes sense. You know, 9-stroke roll and 5-stroke roll are common. I'll play something and throw a bunch of them in. Those happen a bit. They really all happen as much as you want them to. Flam taps. You can make anything work. One thing I wanted to say about flams before is it's kind of cool to put one hand on one drum, one hand on another. It makes like a kind of sloppy, cool sound. At least I like it. I think that's all of them. Yeah, hopefully this helps. If you have any other questions about drums, ask Mr. Etz. We're good friends. I'll talk to him. Thanks.